All right, so take two. So sorry for everybody. We were trying to do. We'll see.
We'll find out.
We hate these Wi-Fi issues. That's the problem with being in rural Arkansas is the Wi-Fi. I got a new phone this week, so we thought we would try from it because it was performing better based off of the statistics I was getting, but it does not look to be the case.
If you guys are, in the other room or whatever, I guess that wouldn't make sense because we didn't get kicked off.
Yeah. But it's showing it's still live, but even though we know it ended. So we'll give this just a moment. And I hate doing this. At some point, we were going to get this figured out.
Is it working better? Okay, good.
Awesome. We're going to get it figured out. I don't know if we're going to buy a hotspot just for live streams. We know it's confusing and it's frustrating. We know for y'all, it's not what we want. So we're very, very sorry. But we made our debut, Jessica's little dance that y'all have seen in our unboxing videos. And let us know, how true were we to what we normally are in our normal unboxings? So let us know what y'all think, and let us know what y'all think about tonight's episode.
Y'all, I'm it's just so surreal. I don't even know if it I don't know. It just doesn't feel real to me. You know what I mean? But the biggest part that we wanted to do, when we were doing all of the tools, yes.
Freaking tools. I wanted to learn though.
We wanted to try something new. We're why not do that on national TV? And so we kind of learned some things from that. But it's one of those moments where you're I may look kind of crazy on national TV, but it's real. And so we've always wanted to have realistic. We wanted to give realistic expectations. Yes. So, yes. The solar panels sold within 24 hours. They were gone quick.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. They sold to a...
Our kids are asleep, so yes. that's the best we can do.
They sold to somebody who was, they knew the person, I get what are they called? VAs? No? I don't know. Somebody locally that came to help out on the show. They knew them and knew that there was a TV show being filmed and stuff. So it was kind of crazy.
Oh, production assistants, PA.
Yes, PA, production assistant. That's it. And so, yes, they sold quick. A lot of those items, I'll show y'all some items. I think there's only one item that we still have from those two unboxings. No, two. One
the tonneau cover.
We have the tonneau cover, which I'll show you tomorrow. I won't show you tomorrow because it's buried. I'll show it to you in a vlog over the next couple of weeks. People don't want a dented tonneau cover, especially dudes. Dudes are very picky about it. But then we also have some type of tool. I'm not a tool person. I don't know why I was ordering tools. We had got some tools on some pallets before, and they did well. So we want to learn.
Yeah. The first pallet that we did was one of the worst that we've ever had. But we know that tools sell really well. We also knew it was returned, so it was going to be a risk. But we wanted to try it anyway, and they wanted some, because, one of the big things that we like to focus on is Amazon, shelf pulls or Amazon returns. But, we didn't want to have to do that for every single episode. So we wanted to try something new. We're well, why not try this now?
Yeah.
We both had high hopes, and it didn't turn out. And that's just part of the game. And I wanted to give a realistic expectation of what experimenting really looks like. Sometimes it's a slam dunk, and sometimes it's just not.
Yeah, they were Harbor Freight tools. Yeah. Don't do those. Like Cajun Reseller said, you can get some good tools that are good. So yeah.
Yeah. Jessica, the show has been wrapped for a while.
Yeah.
If you notice, none of us are wearing masks and things like that because
we're a lot thinner.
I'm a lot. You're a lot thinner, but I was looking at it and I was wow, I've done so much work on myself. I'm a lot fitter now. My face is thinner. So it was really kind of cool to see that. But when were we filming? We
finished in November of last year.
Yeah.
We started around this time last year, and then we kind of finished up the unboxing portion in November of last year. So we've been done almost a year for the unboxing portions.
Y'all listen though, that rug was awful.
We ended up selling it for $10 in our flea market booth. It did sell very quickly, so maybe I did underprice it.
But we were mad at
$10.
it. We wanted it gone.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know, because when I see rugs, you know, you see how much rugs cost, you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. But when we got it, it was like super stringy. Like it was poorly made. Like it was one of those, like you run a vacuum over it, it's just going to like unravel.
Yeah.
And then of course it was like messed up on the side and that part that was open and everything, but I still had that gut feeling, and I knew something good was going to come out of it, and I was right.
She was right. And if y'all are watching, we do have a lot of international people watching. That tomorrow you will be able to watch it from the A&E app or the A&E website. It will be available to watch there. If maybe it's not because of where you are, you can download like a GPS spoofer to change your location. Yeah, you can do it.
Is that legal?
So I don't think it's illegal, but you can do it. So I don't know if A&E restricts international. I wouldn't see why they do, but you can watch that internationally. So, and if y'all have questions, put them in all capital letters. That would be super awesome. I don't feel like TV celebrities.
A dancing montage. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I should do a dancing montage.
You do dance. I like her dances. I miss her purple hair too.
I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Yeah. So Sean Mack, we are in 5 episodes total. So there's been 4 already. I don't know how the rest of them are laid out. I would hope that our next 3 episodes that we're in will be on different nights, because I guess there's 8 episodes left. So 4 more weeks. And I guess they're going to do back-to-back episodes for 4 more weeks. Because I guess if they pick up season 2, they probably want to start filming at some point. And I know maybe I'm giving too much information out.
I don't know. We don't know. The information is we don't have the information, so we don't really know. They just kind of send us email updates of like what's going to happen and any like press stuff that we need to do. Like we did an A&E live stream earlier today, and you know we knew about that. We had done like a check our internet or whatever. So
our faces are all like blurred because our internet sucks.
It just drives me crazy, the internet thing. But yeah, a lot of people are commenting on this tool palette. And it, you know, at first my emotions of it were, you know, why do that one first? Like of all the things, like why do that one first?
Yeah.
Because I felt like it made us look kind of dumb. But I was like, you know what? I wanted to do this TV show so I could give an accurate description of what that looks like and what, you know, it looks like. And I'm like, you know what? If the first episode has us looking like that, at least people know. Like at least people know that's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is a realistic depiction of what pallet flipping is that people buy stuff. You think you're going to make this 3, 4, 5 times your money, not the $5,000. I hate that part.
I mean, because it's just not something that happens all the time. Yes. I mean, it could be like a once in a lifetime type pallet, but I mean, buying a pallet for $200 and selling it. I mean, getting a pallet for $200 is hard enough.
Yes.
Like, you know, like.
And then selling it for $5,000. You know, it's part of the show. It is entertainment based.
Yeah.
But it's not fake. There was nothing planted. I mean, you can see the tool pallet, like.
It was not, they didn't do anything to any of our palettes. Like and I'm sure they didn't do anything to any, because one of the things when the producers talked to us was that they do want to be as accurate as possible. They did not coach us. They, you know, if we stumbled over our words, they may have said something like, oh, well, can you say that again? Or maybe I said something that wasn't clear enough. And they were like, well, can you shorten that? That thought.
Because I talk a lot.
They never told us what to say. They never told us, you know, how to say it. They just helped us so that, you know, they weren't having to like everything could be said like
cohesive.
That's the word.
So that they could edit it and do it like, because we filmed for 8-9 hours.
I mean, it was a lot
per day when they came, in 7 minutes of video.
Yeah.
So.
Amy K, you asked if we can say who we buy our pallets from, and we can. We always talk. We talk about on our Thursday night live streams. We do 7 p.m. Central Time. On Thursday nights, we have like a live Q&A where we talk about those kinds of things. I actually have a blog post that I posted recently on thefamilyflips.com. It's the most recent blog, and it talks about how to find pallets. I can tell you our last couple were like the more common. We did liquidation.com. And found some pallets on there. But I highly recommend that you don't just go there and buy them because we buy them there. We do a lot of research. And so one of the things that I recommend if you're looking into buying pallets is to read that blog. And there's a lot of like tips and tricks that we mention all the time because a lot of people ask on our videos and it's hard to just repeat that comment over and over again. So I just have a blog post now that I can share with you. It basically says, you're looking to buy pallets, here's some steps on how to get there. Yeah. So,
and we only like certain pallets from liquidation.com, specific pallets.
Yeah, we specialize really in Amazon general merchandise.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of pallet flippers here in this chat now. Any of our mods could help you out. There's probably even other people on there as well. And they all buy different stuff. I know that, Jessica has purchased from Walmart, TJ Lovelady from Pallet Jackin'. He buys lots of different kinds of lots, and he's got a lot of experience with stuff like that. And so there's just a lot of people on here that can help you guys. It's not just us. Like I said, we're a community of people. So yeah. Okay. Let's see. Have you ever purchased from Barton's Liquidators in Indiana? We have not.
Yeah.
Has anybody else?
And I don't know, if there's a liquidator that's looking to increase prices now, they're only taking advantage of the situation. And I would probably avoid buying from them. I mean, granted, if it's $50, like if they normally charge $3.50 for a pallet and now they're charging $4.50, that's understandable to try to capitalize on the increased demand. But their contracts are set for the next 9 months. That meaning that they're buying their loads from the particular liquidator for the next 9 months at a set price. That we really won't know what this show, the type of effect that it will have on the liquidation industry for the next 9 months.
Yeah.
So like we don't know. And I guess while it's out there, we're talking about it, maybe people want to hear it, I don't know, is that people still think like, oh, don't you know that being on the show is going to drive up prices of pallets? And I'm like, yeah, we know that. It will to a degree, but this isn't extreme couponing and this isn't storage wars, because a storage locker is somebody who can no longer pay for their bill, and they may have thousands upon thousands of dollars in that storage locker. Extreme couponing, there are no startup costs whatsoever. Pallet flipping, buying liquidation, it has a very high cost barrier, like meaning that it's going to cost you some money to get into it. But these pallets are going to be limited on how much retail value they have. So naturally, that in itself is going to keep the prices of pallets down, because liquidators really know, the ones that know and are in this business for the long haul, not just trying to make a quick buck, they know that they can't increase prices too much, because people won't win and they'll stop buying from them. In this, go ahead.
No, go.
That if pallet flippers, people who break the pallets down, we need to win. Like liquidators know that we need to win in order to keep buying from them. If we don't win, then we will stop buying from them. We will go to somebody else, because there are liquidators popping up everywhere, and there will be, because of this show.
And keep in mind also, like in business, not just in reselling, but in all kinds of businesses, like the market changes. It could be a TV show, it could be the economy, it could be, another competitor coming up. Like things always change, and if you are a business owner and you want to succeed, then you need to adjust with the trends. Regardless of whether any of us were going to be on the show or not, the show is going to be made. Like there's money in it. And yeah, thank you very much. But the show is going to be made, and so the market is always going to be changing and evolving. And so for us, you know, I encourage everyone to be ready to
And I think it's the key. Like if you are new and you're wanting to get into this now because of the TV show, there's a couple things that I would recommend doing. Start slow. That there are going to be lots of people that are going to see, they're going to get on, they're going to buy pallets, they're going to start selling on Facebook. Get on Facebook Marketplace and look and see if you are able to tell if there are any other pallet flippers in your area that are selling liquidation goods. And if there are, then obviously you know that you have competition. So instead of trying to buy so many pallets, get an idea if they have longevity to see if they're actually going to stick to it. Because most people that do this and try it out, they don't have the work ethic. They don't have, and that's nothing against none of you, but it's the truth. Like this is hard. Like you unbox it, you get the dopamine rush of the Christmas morning of finding how much stuff that you might get and how much money you might get. And then you go to actually sell and you realize that the market's a lot lower and that $200 item that you thought you could sell in a week sits on the shelf for 2 months, and then you're trying to give away for $50. Like that's the real deal.
Yep.
So just start slow. Like start slow.
And you know, one thing I always I coach a lot of people with is that, and many of you probably have heard me say this, is that there is more than one, that the unboxing is 5% of the reselling liquidation process. Because the first, you know, you've got sourcing. So you've got to do all of this research. You got to figure out what's going on. If there's a manifest, study the manifest. If there's not, then, you know, calculate your risk, you know, all of this stuff. And that's, you know, a huge part of it. And then you get then you got to like pay for freight and all this other stuff, whatever you're going to do, however you're going to get those pallets. And then you've got the unboxing process, which is a small snippet of time. And for us, it's a lot longer because we film it for you guys. But you know, if it was when we were doing this and we weren't filming it, we could get it done quick.
Yeah.
Super
Easy,
fast, you know, and sort it out. And then the hardest part is finding places to move these items. And if you don't already have an online way to move these items and a local way to move these items, you're going to be sitting on these items for a long time until you figure it out.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I'm like, if you want to buy liquidation, but you are not a reseller, start reselling things first before you spend all this money on a pallet, because like that's already stressful. It'd be great if you had the other aspects of reselling already settled. Have an eBay account, because you know when you start eBay, you're going to have a limited amount of listings. You're going to have to work your way through that. And if you don't have a lot of money to start up and invest, start selling things in your own home that you don't need, and make the money that way. So that way you're not having to spend your rent money or spend your light bill money on a pallet and then realizing that it's going to take you a couple of months to sell that stuff off.
Yeah, and we recommend to everybody, like, don't just get into this to go full time. Like, we recommend for everybody, like, we don't, for us, we don't make a full-time living selling liquidation. That we don't have enough space. There are people that could do it, and you can be really strategic with the items that you buy. But I would think that you would have an extremely hard time right now during COVID-19 because of the categorized pallets, the categorized lots are super expensive.
Yes.
So like start small, like try to make an extra $200 or $300 because we know that an extra $1,200 a month for a lot of people is life changing.
Yes.
That's food on the table. That's the light bill. That's the water bill.
Yes.
And then like just start slow and see where it goes, but don't get ahead of yourself. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst.
And Rodeo Thrift makes a good point.
Yeah.
The shipping process trips a lot of people up, and that's so true. So why not learn all of those things now before you buy a pallet? So all that stuff is set up, and you've learned the ropes of those things.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really, really important.
Yeah. And Sean Mack brings up a point, like there are 100 different ways to resell. There are thousands of different ways to source. There's private label, wholesale, there's thrifting, there's garage selling, there's estate sales, there's he does drop shipping. There's all those different things. Depending on where you sell on, know the terms of the website that you're selling on. But there's hundreds of different ways to do we like to do this because we don't like to shop. We don't like to go thrift. We don't like to garage sale. We don't want to do all the work of finding items to drop ship, knowing that there's going to be hundreds of other people who have the same access to the same catalog to make a few dollars per item. But for a lot of people, that's a lot of money, and you can do that.
Yep. It depends on where you are in life and what your access is, time, space, money. How much time do you have? How much space do you have? How much money do you have to start up? And those three things will determine, and you can find your opportune business model from there. And a lot of people, I want to encourage anyone out here who is very skeptical about, pallet prices and stuff, to remember that consumerism is a huge industry, huge. You've got all these big box retailers and, resell, like all of this stuff. I mean, billions of dollars, y'all. Trillions of dollars. So much money. Like if I had $1 million and spent $1 million on this, I wouldn't even be making a dent in this. There is room for everyone to eat in reselling. There's plenty of room. And so I think, the only thing that's going to hold a lot of people back is, do they have time? Do they have space? Do they have money? Do they have the drive and the motivation to do it? Because I mean, even now, like there have been times where like I've looked at Joe and been like, what? I want to stop. Like it's too hard. It's so much. And so, I just want to say, like, if you felt that way, or if you feel just, there's ways to break free from it. And if there's a will for you, there is a way. So.
Yep. Try to see if there's
if AV decided to do a season 2, would we want to be on it? Absolutely. We had a wonderful experience. We really loved it. We love the idea of helping. We've always been, a teaching channel for the most part. And so, if we could be on season 2, we totally would. And I think I've missed some questions. So if I missed some of your questions and we didn't address them, if you could comment back, because every time I scroll back, I lose my place. But put them in all caps so that I can find them easier. Does anyone know of any place in Ohio to get pallets? Chris Barnhart is asking. There are places in Ohio, for sure. I don't know them off the top of my head, but there are definitely pallets. Y'all, it is so past my bedtime, but I'm too hyped up to sleep. Have we ever gotten pallets of plush? No. But I feel like that would be cool because it'd be super light. Like shipping.
It would be.
It wouldn't be very heavy.
Yes. I'm trying to think. Did we miss any other questions up here?
I told them to recomment because I can't.
Julian, we know balloons. We've got the kids,
If we had balloons, they would never go to bed.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Lucas would still be playing with the balloons. So, yes.
I feel like somebody said something about the postal service, and I read it, but I don't know where it is. I can't find it. So if that was you, please recomment, because I can't find it. Let's see. Price expectations. Autobuff was saying, like expectations on what somebody can sell something for. Is that what you're talking about? Because that is a huge deal. Yeah. And we've actually learned that the hard way. We started pricing things a little higher in the beginning until we learned the sweet spot. Because we were holding on to items for too long,
Yeah.
So for us, we want cash flow. Like that's for us, that's, if you have lots of space and lots of storage, maybe you can hold on to some things, but for us, we really want to move things quickly, so we will knock stuff down so we can continue to move on. Yep.
So. And then Autobuff said earlier about capitalizing. A lot of businesses have reached out to us to try and sponsor videos. We got an offer to fly out to a certain state to unbox pallets, and we just don't know about all that. Because we know that if we agree to that, we are going to get the cream of the crop. That then when we unbox it, you're going to be like, this is a good pallet. Joe and Jessica did well, so I'm going to do well. but knowing that we got the cream of the crop. And anytime that money starts getting involved with that, and yes, we could probably make a lot of money with that, but at the same time, like, then y'all would spend the last $400 that you had to make money on this pallet, and then we done gave our vote of confidence on that pallet, and then not even be a true experience because of money.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say other people do it, but I just know the effect that money and the opportunity of money has on people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, oh, sorry.
I just don't know. You know, I want to buy from them as a customer first, without them knowing that I have a YouTube channel, without them knowing who I am, and then do it. It's like, you know, we went to Southern Liquidation and bought some pallets, and they were not honest with us. And we had a bad experience that we've learned from that. Like, they didn't give us anything for free. They didn't ask. We wanted to vlog our first time to a liquidator so that y'all could see some questions that you can ask, things to look for. And I would hope that y'all or I would hope that y'all learned a lot from that experience. And that's what we want to do. But people reaching out to us first saying, hey, I'm going to give you this. I'll do this for you. I'll give you this stuff to unbox and to be featured on your channel. That's just scary to me. And it's not the right way to do business. So.
I was going to say something. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Susan. I knew somebody had asked about the postal service. What's your opinion on the postal problem? Who do you use to ship your items?
USPS for 98% of it. It's going to get figured out. The infrastructure is too important to the United States of America that it's not going to falter. It's a political situation now, and because it's a political situation now, it's being made harder than what it needs to be.
Oh, we're gonna need spies to shop for us now. I know, right? We might need to find somebody who can do that for us. I don't know. I mean, part of me is like, I don't know. I can't gauge like what popularity this is. Like, you know, because it's like for me, I'm like, I'm just me, like little old me in Conway, Arkansas. Like, I'm just me, and I'm on TV, which is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I don't really know. Like, I don't really.
I reached out to a new one that popped up within 40 minutes of where we live, and just sent them a message, and they're like, "Are you that guy on Extreme Unboxing?" And I'm like,
"Who said that?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm like, "That's me." So, you know, I don't know. XYZ. I've been self-employed now for 6 years. Around this time, and then we got married a year later, so almost 5 years now as a couple, and it has not always been easy, and it's still not even easy. It's still hard, especially when you throw in, like, we work together, we live together, we have kids together, we do YouTube together, we work together. Like, that's a lot of dynamics that it's not easy. So
you need to get a home security system. We actually do now have extra security, both personal and our home security. We've upped it, and we actually had somebody reach out. I think it's on our last vlog. We linked him because it was so considerate. He was just so nice, and he had emailed us. And he was like, "Hey, like, I've been watching you guys. I think you guys are great," and gave us like some tips on how to keep our family safe. And I just really appreciated that. Yeah. He was just a kind person, not trying to do anything other than just help us stay safe. And so we took a lot of what he said to heart as well. And we are upping security and everything as well.
Yeah.
So
in Arkansas, you don't have to have a license to be locked and loaded.
Yeah. Also, somebody asked something about, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying really hard to keep up with the questions. But it was, If I have not answered your question...
Somebody on Ontario, Canada, they had all caps, so maybe they had a question.
Where?
We use... see, the thing is about pallet flipping is we've learned that the items that we specifically get, that we don't sell most of our items online. We sell most of our items locally.
What's up, lady? It's Mrs. Miller.
Yes, we sell most of our items locally because we make so much more money because of the cost of shipping. Granted, there's some people that they live in a very small area where there's not a lot of people that you want to sell online. You can do so. Just know that you're not going to make as much money. You can buy specific pallets that have smaller items to make it easier to ship, but because of COVID-19 and the shortage of liquidation pallets, those items, instead of being 20 cents on the dollar, they're probably going to cost you 40, 50, 60 cents on the dollar because everybody's trying their hand at it. And this was not even because of the TV show. This is because of it's COVID-19. More people are at home than normally.
I know, this is crazy, right? There's more people on here.
Is there?
I mean,
It's got like 200 something on
Thursday,
but
this
which
is like
crazy
super fast.
because a month ago we would have like 10. We'd have 10. So
can a single pallet be broken down and fit into a car? Thinking about buying my first pallet, unsure if it'll fit I mean, you're going to make sure it's completely cleared out and be very conscious of what you're buying.
Yeah.
Because, you got to think about, if you have a lot bigger boxes, it's going to be harder to fit all that into a vehicle. But you can absolutely break down a pallet and then move it that way if you have to. Like, that's creative.
It'd be tough, but you could do it. I wouldn't get like an Amazon 8-foot tall pallet. Right. But you could do it. It would just be an interesting drive. You may have a box or two sitting in your lap or on the dashboard, but it can.
Yeah,
it can.
I mean, there are also, pallets of boxes, like just boxes of stuff, so.
Don't, as Tom says, don't put it on the top of your car. I've seen too many videos out there of it on the interstate because they put it on the top of the car.
Yeah.
I would, if you have a car, maybe start off with buying some smaller lots.
Like lots. Like it's essentially a pallet in a box. It's smaller, costs less, and you can even have that shipped like
and
traditionally.
There's some companies that I know that instead of sending on a pallet, they'll put it in like 4 smaller boxes and will ship it by like FedEx and actually will save you money. So that's an opportunity also for you to do so.
Dan asks do you find if you're asking 60 and they offer 20? Absolutely, that happens all the time. But I also don't take it personally. When you're conducting business with somebody, this is like my thought process, and you guys can take it or leave it with however you want. But with me, if somebody offers me a super lowball answer or offer is the right word. I'm sorry, y'all. But if somebody's offering me something really, really low, I just say no, thank you. I don't even bother. I don't even bother trying to negotiate a price, because if their value for what I have is that low, then we're likely not gonna come. Like, my value for this item is higher than your value for this item. I gotta find a buyer that suits kind of what I think this is worth. And if I don't get any offers, well, maybe I need to reevaluate how I price this item. But yeah, I just say no thank you. If they offer me, a little bit less, then I'll try to meet them in the middle, and negotiate a price that way. But if you're gonna lowball me, I'm not even gonna give you all the time, any time at all.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something quite profound, and I
forgot.
Dang, what was it? Dang, what were we just talking about? I spaced out. It's been a long day.
Let's see. Oh, well, Dixie Girl's saying... Oh, go ahead.
Barton's. Don't buy from Barton's. Anyone can do this. Has bought from them before. Lots of other people have said that Barton's is overpriced right now. So be cautious. There are other places to buy from.
Dixie Girl says, my husband will be retiring next year and I'll need to get my own insurance since I sell online. Can you make any recommendations? Not really.
Insurance sucks right now because of, regardless of what you believe politically, Obamacare made insurance extremely high for individuals. So if you want insurance, it's going to cost some money. As self-employed people, you have the opportunity. You can create an LLC. You can get insurance as a business. Which can help you out some, but either way it goes, like, insurance is high. It just is what it is until they create more freedom. They open up the state borders for insurance. It's going to be expensive. So.
And Ella, you've commented a few times, and I've been meaning to kind of touch base with you. I know you were thinking about doing it and then you decided, maybe you'll wait a while. I would just, while you're waiting, while you're trying to gain, some knowledge and everything, find out what in your area sells really well, because a lot of pallet stuff, it's not cost effective to ship. Now there's some stuff out there, like some electronics and things like that sure will be cost effective to ship. Although buying electronics from pallets can be a little scary.
Yeah.
Because you just don't, there's so many things that could go wrong. But, finding ways that things sell locally, find out what your demographic is, what kind of things that they would like, and then try to look and see if you can find pallets that contain a lot of those items. If you have a lot of young families, maybe baby stuff. If you live in a rural area, maybe you can find something from, Home Depot or something like that maybe would help. I think I said Lowe's the other day. People are like, no!
It all depends on the pallet.
It depends on the pallet, yeah.
And where it's coming from, which state, which distribution center.
Yeah. And then go and see if you can find some unboxings of those particular pallets and see if it's something that you might want to do. So I was trying to touch base with you and we kept getting off, but I wanted to make sure I said that.
So many people from Arkansas, it's crazy. Like we had one video that's really kind of gone viral. I don't know if it's viral.
It's not really viral. It's just taking off.
It's getting a lot of views and it's brought in so much traffic from
driven traffic.
It's brought, I don't know, I'm afraid to say the wrong word because I've seen it, saw it, people like to comment and correct you on the interwebs. They do.
I've had a hard time with the comments. I've actually taken a brief hiatus.
People are jerks.
I love the constructive criticism. Most of you guys are either encouraging or have some kind of constructive criticism, and I love that. Like it's helping our channel become better. But then you've got people just saying really awful things.
Like constructive criticism, if y'all didn't know, it's constructive. It builds up. It's like, I didn't like this particular thing. Have you thought about doing it this way? That's constructive. You have destructive criticism, which means that I don't like how you do this.
Or you're fat.
Yes. Or
your laugh is so fake.
Yeah. Why are you with that fat, ugly white guy?
People say the meanest stuff, y'all. Yeah. And it's like one of those things.
It's funny. It's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like I interrupted you. I apologize.
You're okay.
You're
good.
Ahead.
No, go for it.
It's like, I'm putting my heart in this, trying really hard. I'm not being fake. I'm being genuine. And then you're just going to be a total, so. And
and it's funny. It's like that's such a small percentage of the population. Yes. So I know that it's going to be okay. But it's just, sometimes I'm just like, man, it has been, today especially, because my nerves have been kind of high because the show coming out and all that. Yeah. And it's for the most part, I just let it roll off my back. And I'm just like, it's not a big deal. But sometimes I'm just like, dude, why? Why not do that?
And I get it, and we should, yes. People say, ignore them. I get it.
And
but I promise you, until you get 10s and 15s of those a day, it kind of takes its toll because we're human beings. It's gonna happen.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
It's not that easy just to ignore because you're putting your heart in something. It hurts a little bit. Granted, that it's by them saying it. It says
more about them than it does about
them. But until you've had it happen to you and you're really trying hard, you don't really know. You don't know what it's like.
Stop.
To get bad comments.
Cajun Reseller wants to know if the flea market booth is still doing great. And it is. It's booming.
We're $50, $60 a day now.
Yeah. It's doing great. And we love it. And we were worried about it because, there's still a lot of social distancing going on, COVID and stuff. But our flea market operators are amazing. And they have gone above and beyond to try to make sure that they drive traffic into there. So we owe them a lot as well. They've been wonderful.
I've got a big plan for that flea market. I'm fixing to redo it. And it's going to be what is that home show that redo it? That you go in and you
Chip and Joanna?
I don't know about
Fixer
that.
Upper?
But it's not.
I don't know. You say redo it, and that's my favorite.
I'm just fixing to make it better. I'm going to revamp it.
Do we ever get in small electronics like earbuds and watches?
If it's mixed into everything else, then yes. Those pallets, the general merchandise pallets, are a lot cheaper than if you buy them categorized. So yeah.
And then how do we find what sells local? Personally, we do a lot of Facebook searches because local places, when you Google something, the higher traffic items with, higher traffic websites are going to be the ones that pop up. So they're going to try to find things that are closer to you. So we like to look on Facebook, but other people have found luck on like Craigslist and other local places like that.
You just have to be in tune with the market. You have to buy and sell things in order to know what sells quickly, because as you sell things, you'll get lots of messages very, very quickly on particular items with lots of people interested, and then on some you won't. And maybe that's because you have the price too high. But if the price is right and there's interest in the area, you're going to get lots of comments. And then as you do that over time, you start to realize what people want in your area, and then you just go after those.
Oh, good job, Julian. Bought a big lot of headphones on liquidation.com and have tripled their money so they don't skip. So he doesn't skip.
Yeah.
So don't skip over lots.
Yeah.
For the pallets. Yeah. I mean, we buy lots sometimes too.
We used to buy lots of lots from B stock, particular ones. But then the person that we were buying from quit selling on B stock. But man, I love those. They were
my flea market.
Modems and routers. We bought so many of those that we sold so many cell phones. We sold so many of those, but then they just stopped. So, yeah.
I'm trying to find. I feel like I missed one. Hold on. Somebody said. So how do we find out what sells local? Are you talking about how to
answer that?
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we answered that question.
Oh, sorry.
It's late, y'all.
I'm so sorry. Oh. Do you guys actively avoid Target pallets? Haven't seen one unboxed. No, we actually haven't. We have had luck with Target.com pallets. The thing is that we're creatures of habit. So it's like one of those things where we find something that works for us. Why fix it when it's not?
It's like if you could buy something for $400 and double or triple your money, then why buy something for $1,200 and double your money? Like, it's granted you may sell items for more, so it's just like that's what we do. We like Amazon general merchandise pallets. We're not opposed to Target if we can get them for the right price.
What about sewing machines? Those are hard to come by these days.
We actually have a sewing machine sitting on the shelf that I'm gonna get listed one day because we sold it like over a year ago. And we sent it, and they had the wrong address, so it was returned undeliverable.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is still sitting. It is still sitting on the shelf because it's that new. I've got some bad habits, y'all.
Y'all are so sweet.
Yeah.
I just want you to know, like when we talked about how we are, you guys are just so encouraging.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate that because I do need it. I'm not, I want to sit here and say like I'm a tough person and whatever, I don't care, but I do. And I'm okay with that because that's how God made me. I am a feeler, and it helps me connect with people, and it helps me love on people. And so I'm not going to be sorry for that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to also keep good boundaries between those people who really don't care about that and don't care about me. And that's okay. Because I have lots of you guys who are super supportive and lovely people, and I'm like immensely grateful for the community of people that you guys lift us up and rally us up, and I don't know, we're all a team here, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Ulterior Motive says that this show will flood the market, so much competition. So an interesting comment that I thought was real on a A&E Facebook post the other day was, A&E, you're so late to the unboxing party. And it's kind of true because unboxing has been a thing for the last 8 years. And there are videos that have 6 and 7 and 8 million views
Ulterior Motive
of doing the exact same thing that we do that are getting way more views for so much longer than the A&E TV show. A&E, people that watch A&E, they're going to be people who are watching for entertainment. Very few people are actually going to jump out into the market and do it. Just my opinion.
Let's see.
But thank you, Ulterior Motive.
Have you ever been to a liquidation bin store?
We actually used to do those, and we
We did.
loved them.
Oh, I wish I could do it again. If we open up a storefront, which, you know, we've thought about it and all of that. I want to wait a little bit, obviously, because the market's kind of, and then, you know, our kids are still kind of young. But, you know, maybe in the next couple of years or so, we would love to do that.
We loved them. Like, I loved buying the Amazon small box pallets, doing bin sales, seeing the items that people would come in that we priced for $2 and they would be able to sell it for like 60 and 70 bucks. I can't wait to do those again. So.
What brand name is the sewing machine? I have no idea.
No idea. It was like $35 sewing machine. I'm going to list it this week. I won't list it. Whitney will list it. Who am I kidding? I hate listing.
Donuts? Ooh.
Can I buy a kolache?
Is that how you say it though? Is it a kolache?
I don't know.
You know the little breaded thing with the hot dogs?
We used to always go ahead. We used to always get those when they would come and film. We would go to the donut shop and we would get kolaches.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. You just brought it was nostalgic.
Would you ever get in the whole start of the liquidation chain and be the liquidations brokers? I don't know.
Not. There's not that much money. That it's a volume game. You figure they're buying a pallet for. Just take for instance an Amazon pallet that we bought from Southern Liquidation. They're probably buying that pallet for probably around $225.
Listen, Cajun reseller.
And it's just not a lot of money to be made. You got to do lots of volume.
Why you want to get my kid hyped up on coffee?
No, Cajun, that was a one-time deal. At nighttime. It
was a mistake. It was a huge mistake. So for those of you who don't know, it was one of our first like live videos when we started doing this regularly. And we tried doing it with our kids here because we love including our kids and stuff. But it just got to a point where they were very distracting. I was constantly having to leave and we weren't able to really have the kind of conversation where we could connect. And so now this is something that, you know, when our kids are a little bit older maybe, but we were talking and Joe was talking and it was like, I don't know, it was late because it, you know, ours usually go for like an hour, hour and a half. And, you know, that's around their bedtime. And so Joe was just sitting there and then Lucas was just drinking his coffee. And so it's been an inside joke for a long time. So now y'all are in on it because it was hilarious.
Yeah. That was when like hardly anybody would, like, it's crazy. We're about to hit 20,000 subscribers because of y'all. And like we were at 4,000 subscribers like at the beginning of July. Like I think we may have hit 4,000 like the last week of June. And here we are like 6 weeks later, we're about to hit 20,000 subscribers. Like,
okay, so Susan is interested in the sewing machine. Okay, so pigs in a blanket, and I don't know if it's the same. It is kind of, but it's like they're longer. They're like this big. Like pigs in a blanket to me, where we're in our region, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but they're like really small, like little like weenies that are like wrapped. But like the kolaches are like big and they're like donut pastry bread. Oh, so good. And it's usually got cheese in it. Oh, it's so good.
Somebody South Australia, Carol, like as we've been going through this process, we're so boring. You know, it's like, I mean, because we're in it, we love what we do, but I think anybody, when you get into the day-to-day of what you do and you tell somebody, it's like, this is kind of boring.
No, not a corn dog. No.
She's reading comments. But thank you, Carol, because you enjoy watching us.
Corn dog's a different thing.
I hope that my last couple of videos have been better. I realize that I was letting the stress of the situation get to me for a couple of vlogs, but I was told that I needed to get a grip because it's affecting my health.
Yeah, okay, so listen, yes, pigs in a blanket are the little ones, right? Those little cocktail. This is a full-fledged hot dog in donut bread.
Yeah. And somebody had a question.
On an orange magic carpet ride. We're on an orange magic carpet ride.
That was so much fun. I loved filming for the videos. For those, it was just a lot of fun. Because we got to do like what we do, but like with other people around. laughing at us.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
So Susan, I'm trying to figure out how to do this because I am trying to. There's a lot of people who've had interest, and they've been emailing me, and I've been sending invoices, but things are getting like lost in the emails. Yeah. So I can. If you want to email me, we'll do that, but I got to figure out something else. Jessica.rensing@thefamilyflips.com. You can email me.
Email's in the description also. It
should be in there. But
yes.
I don't know. It's just, I got to figure out a better way to do it. We do have auctions on our Facebook selling page, which is also linked in the description. You can join that as long as you want to pay for shipping. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to because I didn't even think that you guys would want to buy stuff from our house. So we never even thought about it.
We're reactionary right now. Like once life slows down a little bit for us, like we've got plans. Like we're gonna get a grip. We're gonna get better at the whole item selling thing and create a system so that people can get it. Like putting on a website takes so much longer. I know Julian asked about a separate website. It takes so much longer to get all that together. It takes a long time. So we're trying different stuff. We will get it figured out, I promise.
But thank you for your patience in the meantime.
Tommy asked, the bargain effect asked if it was YouTube that they found us. And yes, they found one of our unboxing YouTube videos that was boring. I think they said they originally reached out to like over 60 people. And they did an interview process, lots of talking, lots of different stuff of different people. And they wanted us, like A&E chose us, like they wanted us. So yeah.
Brian wants to know what the most valuable single item we've ever gotten on a pallet. Now, one that
What's up, Brian Porterfield?
One that's sellable or one that was a gut punch because it was not sellable?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Well, we do both.
Okay, go for it.
So the most expensive item was a 3D printer. It was on the second pallet that we ever bought. We bought 2 pallets. That item paid for both pallets combined. It was like $1,000 3D printer. The most valuable item is an item that we get so many comments on this video. We've been called lazy and stupid because we just won't clean the stainless steel sink. How dare they just won't clean it? So we're gonna do a vlog about it. As you can see, these comments are affecting us.
We need to chill out.
But this stainless steel sink is a $1,600 commercial stainless steel sink that it needs to be not just clean, but there's some deep scratches. It's going to be introduced into one of our new episodes in the next week or two. But with a lot of pallets that we get,
and the chair,
mm-hmm. We get a lot of $300 and $400 items for the pallets that we buy. That's probably about it. Like because they just
Yep. So Mike wants to know if you bought something, would us and our kids sign it? What?
I guess you would.
Are you gonna sell it on eBay?
Yeah, you're gonna sell it.
Are you gonna sell it on eBay?
Because I'll just start selling my own autographs and push you out of your own market. Start selling them cheaper. Yours might be forged. I don't know. You're gonna have to get it authenticated. I'm gonna have to put a Vero claim out on you. Yeah.
Y'all, this is...
I guess we'll sign. It's weird. Doing it. I mean, yeah, I guess so. We'll sign it.
That's so... I don't know. I guess.
Yeah. Did y'all see the article on celebpie.com?
We're the dark horse. Look, I'm going to find an artist, and we're going to make dark horse t-shirts, and we're going to be the dark horse club. I had to Google what dark horse meant. I didn't even know what it meant.
It fits.
I'm going to Google it real quick.
Prophetically with like, what did you just do to the... Okay.
I'm fine.
Did y'all watch the last live stream where Jessica Shields asked us what all we got off of pallets in our home? And we streamed from the telephone, the cell phone. And
I'm going to post it on social media.
I picked up the computer and started showing everybody what we bought. That was funny.
So the dark horse is a candidate or competitor about whom little is known, but who unexpectedly wins or succeeds.
That's us. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the small, we operate out of our garage. And I don't think we'll ever win a pallet competition. I don't know. Because
I thought it was just a black or brown horse, like a dark color. I know, right?
I don't think we'll ever win because our prices, they're legit. Like, they're actual profit prices and not what they actually will sell for.
Susan, I want to eat the expensive snacks. They're the
I think
best.
Blake got us because there's no way he sold that scooter for that much money. If y'all watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to text him tomorrow and be like, how much did you actually sell that scooter for? Because you stole our crown.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I got really dramatic.
Arkansas is always the dark horse, except they never win. Listen, Louisiana.
Just
okay?
because y'all won a national championship last year doesn't mean you get to talk about Arkansas, okay? Rose, I'm not sure when we will be on TV next, but we were on TV. Well, technically we'll be on TV tomorrow on A&E, on Extreme Unboxing. We made our debut tonight. But as far as the next new episode, I'm not sure.
Too much tooting last night. There was a situation where there was...
Nobody farted.
No, but we talked a lot about it.
Because you smelled the trash can. Jessica Shields, it was funny though, at the beginning. She said, Joe's getting the drinks and making sure that the trash can lid is closed. Go against. I'm going to have to go against you. So we're fixing to have to go here shortly. This is our first Southern goodbye. Because it's 11:10. And
I had to work tomorrow, y'all. We got some stuff to lose.
The kids will be waking up in like 7 hours. I hope 7 hours.
We started all the sports fans are coming out now. Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, they do reruns of the show on Friday, or they did in Central Florida. I didn't know that.
I think they're airing all week. From the ratings that I saw, that's the correct one, right? Mm-hmm. I can no longer say I seen it without thinking because somebody corrected me. Thank you, YouTube. But I saw the ratings for the show last week, and for a tropical storm / hurricane getting into the East Coast where a lot of people live, it did well.
Oh, look at that. Look at all the sports. I didn't know we had so many sports fans. Woo!
I'm a Chiefs fan. I have been a Chiefs fan for a long, long time, ever since I was a young lad.
Anthony Flores wants to know how school's going with them. I guess with the kids.
Ours are homeschooled, been homeschooled since they started school, so nothing's changed. When all the kids during the spring were getting out of school, Jolene thought that she was going to be getting a little break from school. I'm like, no, we homeschool.
But she gets breaks all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, we do year-round homeschool, but if she's like, I need a minute, we give her a week off, So, I wish I can brag about our sports. Go Giants.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley. Yeah.
Well, actually, homeschooling does rock. Although, I did have somebody tell me that...
oh, yes. That comment.
That she knew somebody who homeschooled,
Down
and they
the
all
road.
ended up being...
3 daughters. And one was a stripper, one was a crackhead and a stripper. And they didn't mention the other one, but insinuated that that's what we're going to get as we homeschool.
Any tips for homeschooling? Yeah, a lot of people are wanting to homeschool now because of the threat of, COVID and everything like that. And I mean, and it can be done. You just have to, it's the same process kind of thing as like with pallet liquidating. You have to be motivated to do it and always willing to learn something new. But just know that if I could give any like tip or advice, is that homeschooling is nothing like public school. Public school has a whole different atmosphere. It's like a whole different set of things. And so it's like when you're homeschooling, I would highly recommend that when you start homeschooling that you take some time to de-school. Like, try to basically de-schooling. You can look it up. There's a lot of homeschool mom blogs that I follow and everything, and they talk about de-schooling, which is basically not doing any kind of school, but encouraging this love of learning. Like, don't let them, like, watch TV and screen time and all this other stuff. But, which is fine. You can do that sometimes. But, have them, go outside, have them be bored. Let them be bored. Because I think a lot of times, we feel like we have to entertain. But some of the most amazing discoveries for children come out of boredom. Some of the most amazing, because it encourages their brain, but they have to get past this, I'm bored, for them to be like, okay, well, I'm bored and I need to find something to do. And that's when imagination comes to play. That's when they start learning how to solve problems and start to develop things, So, my kids come up to me and tell me that they're bored all the time. And I'm like, wow, that's unfortunate. I'm really sorry. I'm sure you can find something to do. And sometimes they'll just sit there for a minute and just be upset with me. And then eventually I'll walk by, 30 minutes later, and they're having this amazing pretend play game going on. And I'm like, see, this is beautiful. So, yeah, lots of good things I've learned about homeschooling, mostly because I did a lot of things wrong at first. But there's a lot of people who've gone before me with homeschooling. And so I always listen to, a lot of people and get their advice. And that way I don't have to make the same mistake, So, yeah.
How do you spell your name? Grisha?
Grisha?
Yeah, it hasn't always been that way. We don't always get along together. It's kind of funny. Some of our most popular unboxing videos, we had a little spat before we started recording for the unboxing video. So it's always very flattering that people say, I love how y'all get along, and y'all, we get along because we talk about stuff and we work it out.
And it wasn't always fun.
Yep.
Just to be real about that. Deborah, that's a good point. Deborah thinks that it's important that it's important for kids to have the socializing that school provides, but also keep in mind that socializing doesn't just have to happen at school. We were part of a co-op a lot, on and off when we can, and we are part of a church. We also, our kids do extracurriculars. We have play dates. Of course, things are a little different now, just because of the pandemic and everything, but we still make sure that socialization is an important aspect. They don't just socialize with kids their age, although they do, but they're socializing with all ages, with adults, with teenagers, with, college kids, all of this stuff. They're kids who are 2, 3, 4 years older than them, kids who are 2, 3, 4 years younger than them. So, there's a lot there, but also, I think that it doesn't just have to be in a school setting. Now, school setting is a great place for kids to socialize, and I'm not against anyone who decides to public school their kids. If that works for them, that's great. But for us and for our lifestyle, we do make sure that we take very good care of our kids, and that we make sure that they do get everything that they need, including the socialization aspect.
Yeah. And Deborah, that could have been you said that a young man that works for you regrets being homeschooled. And a lot of times it's how the parents, he could have been an only child. He may not have been introduced to a lot of social settings. We don't know. But for us, we make sure that they get lots of social interaction with other kids for that reason, because we know that's important.
And, I was public schooled, also in a gifted and talented program, and took all of the AP classes and ended up getting a full ride scholarship to a college before the drugs and all the other stuff kicked in, and I ended up losing everything. But I also, I think that also there should always be a choice. If at any point my children come to me and say, I would really like to go to public school, then we would talk about that, and we would make sure that they understood what that meant and all of that. And if they wanted to do it, then I would sign them up in a heartbeat. Like I said, I'm not against public schooling by any means. I just want the best for them, and when they can make those decisions for themselves as well, that they should always have a say on how they educate themselves. So I did not like public school though.
I hated it.
I hated public school.
It failed me. Public school. I was. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I didn't have a problem with public school and all of that. I'm very academic in nature and everything. I just didn't like it all that much. I had lots of friends, and I fit in fairly well. I was very extroverted and social. But maybe I just didn't like school in general.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was too much. Maybe because I was in like gifted and talented, and I always had tons of homework, and I always felt stressed. Like I was always stressed out, especially like from 6th grade on. So maybe that's why, I don't know. But yeah. But with him, he's very, very smart, but he didn't read that well, can't write that well, and didn't have the attention that he needed for them.
He was very bored to me.
Yeah.
Because I could hear something and remember it, especially like in math and sciences, that I could do all the math in my head, but I would often get in trouble because I didn't show my work, because it was easier for me to do it in my head than on paper.
Yep.
But it was never challenging to me because I could hear them talking about it, somewhat pay attention. I made A's and B's in school. It was never challenging.
My like for example, Joanne said that her 2 nieces were homeschooled, and then they wanted to go to high school when they got old enough, and they loved it. And I feel like like maybe one or most of my kids, she might want to do that, and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
And so my sister-in-law is a public school teacher. She's got a master's degree in education, and she is so integral in how I teach my kids as well, because she's learned all these processes of how to break stuff down and really teach. And I love, like, I'm not privy to like any one school of learning. I'm always a student in how I learn how to do things. That includes my business. That includes homeschooling, parenting. If somebody has, hey, this worked for me, well, I'm going to look into it. It may not work for me, but it's always good to see options and to learn how to do things.
Yeah. I think it says is like, we're not afraid to try something. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but we'll try it.
Yeah. Like Mike said, stay open-minded.
I don't know, what time is it? We need to go. We have one more question about how do we meet. We'll answer that question and then we'll go, because there's maybe a lot of people who don't know. But I actually had dreams about a purple-headed girl for probably 3 or 4 months before I ever met Jessica.
And when he was having dreams about me, I was a drug addict, and I was not saved, and I was a completely different person.
Yeah, I remember God would like tell me things to write, to pray about her, about things that she was to become, that I had it all in my journal. Like I was writing letters.
I actually have the letters.
To her, the her that she was to become. And I remember him telling me in prayer, I want you to send these particular flowers to her when I tell you. And then we met at church. I didn't think anything of it because, my eyes were not open yet. And then I got invited to her house one day with a friend of mine, and she just started telling...
Whitney.
It was Whitney.
It was Whitney. Whitney and I actually worked together as preschool teachers.
Yeah. And I was there hearing her story, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the girl. So I had to do everything in my power to not reach out and try and hold her hand. And I thought
he didn't like me. I thought he was mad at me.
It's like I was just sitting there with my eyes closed because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the girl. But then it was that was on a Sunday. On Tuesday, God was like, it's her birthday. I want you to send her these gladiolus flowers in these particular colors. So I sent it to her on her birthday, which was that Friday. So I sent it to her. And then that Saturday night, if you've watched our To Liquidation, the one we did with the To Liquidation palettes about the moon, she was like, I've had this
ongoing dream ever since I was a little girl. And it was just, I always thought it was because my dad and I had this, I remember specifically, I would sit on his shoulders and we would be outside and we would look at the moon, and he would howl at the moon and I would howl at the moon. It was just this cute little daddy-daughter thing that we always had, and I really loved it. And then I would have this dream that I was just, sitting there, And I don't know, it seems like a really boring dream, but I always loved having it, where the moon would just go across the sky right in front of me.
Huge
and
moon.
it became like essentially like a super moon. Like it was very big, and it just kept getting bigger and brighter, and it would go in this exact direction between these two clouds, and it'd go up in this exact direction and everything. And so we were sitting there and we were talking, and I was like, this is really weird. But I was like, and I know this is going to sound really crazy. I was like, but I've had this dream, and that moon looks exactly like this dream I've dreamt about for so long, like for years. And I mean, since I was a little girl. And I was like, and I think it's going to go up, and at some point it's going to get right about there. There's going to be these two clouds here, and it's going to get really big and really bright. And so we started talking. We talked there for like hours. I mean, hours. And the moon did exactly that, and it gave me goosebumps. Like I was almost about to cry.
And I was like, the crazy thing is growing up, my dad always called me Moon. Like that was my nickname for my dad. So she dreamed about the moon. My name was Moon.
Yeah.
And we were pretty much engaged like within a week, and we got married. That was like the beginning of June. We got married September 12th of that year. It hasn't always been rainbows and unicorns.
And I think another important thing to note, and it's been something that I've been kind of like wondering if I should ever like divulge or open up, but I think that it's important to know that, you know, we met in May of 2015. But Jesus was always just like a story to me. It was really nice. It was really cool. I loved it, I loved the stories. I thought they were great, but it was never like a reality for me, or anything. It's just something that I just thought, helped, like it was very like Aesop's fables type thing, kind of taught a lesson or whatever. But something happened. I don't know. It's just this long, I don't exactly know how it happened, because it kind of happened not with me intending anything to happen. But I walked in, I had a friend. She had been friends forever. She asked me to go to church with her, and I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, fine, whatever. So I go to church with her, and I found Jesus on the floor of that church on October 26th of 2014, and never touched drugs ever since.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is about that is I had a vision of this bull chasing this purple-headed girl, and I felt led to fast for this purple-headed girl. So I did a water-only fast for 6 days and just prayed and fasted for this purple-headed girl. And then on that Saturday, I felt God saying like, it's done. And then that's about the same time she hangs out with her friend, and then her friend invites her to go to church the next day of what she just said. So
it was all very fast.
Yeah.
It was all very fast. I still, like, if it wasn't my story, it'd be hard to believe, but it's my story. And then our first 4 months of marriage were really great. And then all of our real life stuff started coming out. And I learned that I was a narcissist and an abuser. Not because I'm a terrible person, but because I didn't know. That's how I got my needs met. Because I didn't know who I was. I didn't understand my value and my importance. And I know that God had to put a very, very hard-headed and stubborn man, a justice seeker in my life, because I've hurt a lot of people in my past. And I've apologized to those people. I've gone through this whole thing. There's a woman in my life, and I consider her a spiritual mother, and I owe a lot to her, but she spent a lot of time with me, to a point where I had to take off my shoes and put them on the other side of the room, because we went through such hard therapy sessions of just getting into that. And it was one of those things where it was like, I don't know. It was one of those things where like I had to have somebody I had to see it. I could not repent from it if I couldn't see it. And so that was probably one of the hardest years of my life, was having to relearn how to communicate, relearn how to be somebody who wasn't abusive or narcissistic, and all of that. And so I was a very manipulative person. And I think one of the reasons why what you guys are seeing on those videos and what you guys are seeing with us is that we have walked behind closed doors, in a very secret place. We have walked through a lot of change. And this is the fruit of what hard work looks like. Sometimes you just got to put your keys in the freezer. And so you can't leave, so that you can actually sit in the uncomfortableness that is your life. Like you have to be willing to sit in that uncomfortable place, because I mean that's where change happens, you know?
Joanna asked, I think it's Joanna